Listen to me. I know what is in your safe right now. You have that long, heavy waterfowl shotgun you use for everything. Ducks, geese, clays, and come spring, you drag it into the turkey woods because you think it is good enough. But here's the hard truth. That mindset is costing you birds. A turkey is not a clay pigeon. It is a paranoia-fueled dinosaur with eyes like a high-powered optic. If you were still swinging a 28-inch barrel and spraying pellets like a garden hose, you are doing it wrong. The game changed at SHOT Show 2026. We are done with adapted bird guns. We are talking about specialized tools, surgical precision, sub-gauge lethality that hits like a freight train. Today, we're breaking down the dedicated turkey killers that make your old pump action look like a relic. Let's get to work. Number 7. The CVA Scout Spur, 28 gauge. Start with the mindset. This platform is not for the guy who needs to spray lead to feel confident. This is for the surgical hunter who believes in the ethos of one shot, one kill. If you need a second round, you probably should not have pulled the trigger in the first place. This break-action single shot is compact, lightweight, and specifically tuned for the modern turkey woods. It features a 22-inch fluted barrel that balances perfectly in the hand, making it effortless to carry on those long hikes to the roost. Under the hood, CVA has done something brilliant with the stock architecture. Instead of a traditional fixed stock, they utilized a pistol grip style built on a buffer tube design. This is critical. It allows you to adjust the length of pull and cheek riser height to fit your specific body type. Most single shots force you into an awkward neck crane to see through an optic, but this system aligns your eye perfectly with the rail. However, there is a serious reality check here. It is a single shot. If you rush your shot and miss, the game is over. You do not get a second chance to fix a mistake. The extraction is manual, meaning you have to physically pull the shell out. But for the price, it puts a pattern on a bird that rivals guns costing 4 times as much. Stepping up the game to number 6, we have the blue-collar workhorse that proves you do not need to mortgage your house to drop a tom. This is the Mossberg Silver Reserve Eventide Turkey. While the elite snobs turn their noses up at budget over and unders, this rig is busy stacking meat in the freezer. The genius here is the pure maneuverability. We are talking about stubby 20-inch barrels that bring the total length down to under 39 inches. When you are jammed inside a ground blind the size of a phone booth or crawling through thick brush to cut off a strutter, that compact footprint is the difference between getting a shot and getting busted. Let's look under the hood. It runs a single selective mechanical trigger. This is crucial because unlike inertia triggers that rely on recoil to reset for the second shot, this system works every single time, even if a light load fails to kick hard enough. It allows you to set up a dual threat system. Put a wide open choke in the bottom barrel for that bird at 10 yards and a super tight turkey choke in the top for the hanger up at 40 yards. But here's the deal breaker you need to know. It uses extractors, not ejectors. That means the shells do not fly out when you break it open. You have to pull them out by hand. Honestly, for turkey hunting, I prefer this. It keeps you silent and prevents shiny brass from flying through the air and spooking the flock. The trigger pull is heavy.
It feels a bit like dragging a sack of concrete across a driveway, but for a dedicated woods gun under $1,100, it's a compromise I'm willing to make.
Coming in at number 5, we are diving headfirst into the sub-gauge revolution with the Retay Ace 28-gauge expansion. Listen, for years, the 28-gauge was considered a weak option for children or recoil-sensitive shooters. But with modern tungsten supershot, this thing is now a legitimate stone-cold killer out to 40 yards. The Retay Ace is leading this charge because they fixed the one thing that made me hate inertia guns. It is called the inertia click. On most systems, if you baby the bolt or bump it on a tree, it rotates out of battery and goes click instead of bang when a tom is standing right in front of you. Retay installed an internal torsion spring in their Inertia Plus bolt system that forces that bolt face to lock up tight every single time. It runs like a sewing machine. This platform is light, fast, and agile, but if you are looking for the absolute king of gas-operated systems that eats 3.5-inch shells for breakfast, just wait until you see what's sitting at the number 1 spot. Back to the Ace. Under the hood, they use deep-bore drilled barrels. They're drilled from solid steel stock rather than the standard hammer forging. This means the metal is under zero stress, which translates to dead straight patterns that do not wander as the barrel heats up. However, here's the reality check you need to hear. Because this is an inertia gun, it lacks the bleed-off softness of a gas system. Even in 28 gauge, the recoil impulse is sharp. It feels like a quick, angry slap rather than a shove. It's manageable, but don't expect it to be pillow soft. Now we get serious with number 4. This is the CZ USA Reaper Magnum. I know the traditionalists and the fair chase purists are going to hate this pick. They say using a fan to crawl up on a bird, what we call reaping, is cheating. Honestly, I do not care. I call it aggressive tactics, and if you want to play that game, this is the only tool for the job. This shotgun was built specifically to solve the biggest problem with modern turkey guns. They are too accurate. Here's the deal. When you put an extra full choke on a barrel and a tom runs in to 10 yards, your pattern is the size of a golf ball. You will miss him clean. The Reaper solves this by giving you two 26-inch barrels. You load a spreader choke in the bottom for the close quarters fight and a tight tungsten choke in the top for the bird that hangs up at 40 yards. It covers you from 40 feet to 40 yards instantly with the flick of a switch. Let's look under the hood. It uses a mechanical trigger system rather than an inertia reset. This is a massive technical detail that most people miss. In an inertia gun, the first shot has to go off to set the trigger for the second. If you get a light primer strike on your first barrel with this CZ, you can just pull the trigger again and fire the second barrel immediately. That reliability is non-negotiable when a bird is putting for the exit. But here's the truth you need to accept. Because this is a fixed breech gun with no gas system to bleed off energy, the recoil with 3.5-inch Magnums is violent. It does not push you, it punches you. It feels like getting hit in the shoulder with a framing hammer. If you are recoil sensitive, stick to the 3-inch shells, or you will develop a flinch that ruins your season.
Entering the elite tier with number 3. This is the Browning Cynergy Ultimate Turkey. Look, most over and unders, tall and blocky. They feel top-heavy. Browning fixed this with a piece of engineering genius called the monolock hinge. Instead of pivoting on a traditional pin, the receiver sits incredibly low. This lowers the bore axis, meaning when you pull the trigger on a 3.5-inch Magnum, the gun pushes straight back into your shoulder rather than snapping your neck upwards. Under the hood, it uses a reverse striker ignition system. This is not a sluggish, hammer-fired setup. It breaks like a glass rod, crisp, immediate, and with zero overtrail. That mechanical precision is exactly what you need when you are threading a shot through thick brush at a bird that is nervous and ready to run. It comes with 5 chokes, including a specialized spreader and an ultimate full turkey tube. This gives you that same close range versus long range versatility we talked about, but in a package that points faster and more naturally than anything else on this list. But here's the reality check. The price is going to hurt. With an MSRP over $2,800, this is a massive investment. You're paying for the name and the engineering. Also, frankly, the modern, angular look is not for everyone. It looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie, not a traditional timber hunt. This is a masterpiece of break-action design. But if you want the ultimate semi-auto that can cycle faster than you can think, wait until you see the monster sitting at number 1.
Closer to the crown at number 2. This is the Winchester SX4 NWTF cantilever turkey. Look, while other companies are trying to reinvent the wheel with space-age polymers, Winchester doubled down on what actually works. This is the definition of a workhorse. It's a direct evolution of the platform that has dominated the semi-auto market for years, but now it is purpose-built for the spring woods. The genius here is in the mounting system. They used a Weaver-style cantilever rail that is attached directly to the barrel extension. Here is why that matters. On a standard shotgun, your rail is on the receiver. When you take the barrel off to clean it, you lose your zero. With this cantilever design, the optic stays married to the barrel. You can strip this gun down, clean the mud out of the action, put it back together, and it will still drive tacks at 50 yards without touching a dial. Under the hood, it runs the active valve gas system. It automatically self-adjusts to allocate the exact gas pressure needed to cycle the action, whether you're shooting light field loads or heavy 3.5-inch Magnums. It bleeds off the excess gas through quadravent ports, which keeps the system cleaner and softer shooting than a standard gas gun. But here's the deal breaker, the trigger. It feels like pulling a spoon through a bowl of oatmeal. It has that typical gas gun creep that never seems to break cleanly. It's safe and it works, but it lacks the glass rod snap of the mechanical triggers we saw earlier. Also, if you're an old-school iron sight hunter, that cantilever rail is just a jagged piece of metal waiting to snag on a vine.
Here is the undisputed king of the turkey woods for 2026. This is the Beretta A800 Suprema. Forget everything you think you know about high-end shotguns. The Italians didn't just push the envelope here, they set it on fire. This is the most radical departure from traditional gun making I have seen in a decade. While other companies are still welding steel, Beretta built a chassis that is almost entirely one-piece, high-tech polymer. I know what you're thinking. Plastic on a $2,500 gun? Yes, because this polymer is impervious to the elements. You can drag this thing through a saltwater swamp, bang it against a hickory tree, and leave it in the mud, and it will not rust, corrode, or fail. Let's look under the hood. It runs the new B-Link Pro gas system. This mechanism is a beast. It cycles 36% faster than the previous generation, which was already the fastest on the planet.
But the real magic is the cleanliness. It runs 46% cleaner, meaning you can shoot heavy tungsten loads all season without scrubbing the piston. It pairs this with the Kickoff Pro recoil system integrated into the stock.
When you pull the trigger on a 3.5-inch Magnum shell, it feels like a polite shove instead of a car crash. We are talking about a 70% reduction in felt recoil. That allows you to stay on the gun and watch the bird drop through your optic without losing your sight picture. But here is the deal breaker. The price tag is offensive. With a starting price of around $2,500, this is a rich man's tool. Also, for the traditionalist who loves the feel of cold steel and warm walnut, this gun feels soulless. It feels like a piece of tactical hardware, not a family heirloom. However, if your only goal is to kill a turkey with absolute mechanical perfection, this is the new standard. Here's the bottom line. The days of the do-it-all shotgun are over. If you're serious about spring hunting, stop handicapping yourself with a duck gun that shoots patterns like a screen door. Whether you choose the surgical precision of the single-shot Scout Spur or the technological dominance of the Beretta A400X, get a tool built for the job. Train hard, stay safe, and I'll see you downrange.